Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vatvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamini Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavabhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Krishnakarine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvalokadhite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasra Netranana Pada Baho Sahasranamam Stavanam Prashastham Niruchyate Janma Jaradishanti. So, Namaste once again, everyone. In the last class,
Guruji.
Namaste. Last class, we completed the meaning up to Suyamunah. Now we'll go to the next sloka. Bhuta vaso vasudevah sarvasu nilayo nalah darbha darbado drupto durdarota parajitah. So here, as I said, 9 namas are there. Bhuta vasa vasudevah sarvasu nilayah analah darpah darpadah druptah durdarah atha aparajitah. 9 namas are there. So Bhuta Vasaha. Bhuta Vasaha, very simple meaning, the abode of all beings. Bhutan yatra abhimukyena vasanti iti Bhuta Vasaha. Then Adi Shankara quotes from Harivamsha Purana for this meaning. Vasanti tvayi bhutani bhuta vasas tato bhava iti Harivamshe. So the word bhuta can stand for human beings, living beings, or it can also stand for all the elements and elementals, the Panchabhutas. So all the bhutas, all the elements like space and others, and elementals and living beings have their being primarily in Bhagavan, hence he is Bhuta Vasa. Because the entire world is nothing but elementals. What are elementals? Elementals are those which are born of the elements. So even our own body is made up of Panchabhutas. So this body is an elemental. And the source of that is the Bhutas, Panchabhutas. So the physical bodies as well as the subtle bodies of all living beings are Bhautika, born of the elements. So when you take out all this, what is left out is Atma, which is not different from Paramatma. So everything has its being in the elements, which have their being in space, and even in that space also has its being in Bhagavan. It is just, stage by stage we can understand, that's all. So that is why he is Bhuta Vasaha. Then Vasudevaha. Vasudevaha, earlier we have seen Vasudevasya Apatyam Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva. But here it's a different meaning Adi Shankara takes. The one who covers the Jagat. Jagat Vasayati Achadayati Mayayati Vasuhu Sayeva Deva Iti Vasudeva. So the Bhagavan in whom everything abides, he chooses to become the son of Vasudeva. Sri Krishna, as a young boy, was asked by his mother Yashoda to open his mouth. Most of you will know the story. And when he opened his mouth, to her awe and surprise, Yashoda saw the entire universe in the mouth of Krishna. That's why he was Bhutavasa. And soon, Krishna with his Maya power covered her perception and made her see him as a child as usual. So Bhagavan covers everything with Maya. Hence he is a Vasu. Since he is in the form of consciousness, self-effulgent, he is also Deva. Deva, the meaning of Deva is from Div Dhatu, means brilliant, effulgent. That's the meaning of Deva. So since he is Vasu and he is Deva, he is Vasudeva. With his Maya, he pervades everything. People, due to their ignorance, they do not know that Bhagavan is all pervasive and obtains as the very inner self, the Atma in every being. And until that ignorance is removed with knowledge, with the knowledge of the self. Atma, we said, is inner self. So until we gain the knowledge of that inner self, the Atma, the fact of, or the Maya's action continues. Maya covering this entire world with an appearance continues. So that is Vasudeva. Then Sarva Sunilayaha, the abode of all the pranas. Sarva eva asavaha pranaha jivatmake yasmin ashraye niliyante sa sarvasu nilayaha. The word asu in Sanskrit means prana. What is prana? The air which is outside is called vayu. But when it goes inside our body, it becomes prana. We all think that we are alive because we breathe and that we are dependent on the prana. But in fact, the case is just the opposite. It is because we are alive that we breathe. And the one who lives in a conscious being is called a Jivatma. It is the Bhagavan, the Paramatma, who appears as Jivatma in all the individual bodies and in whom all the pranas have their abode. And again, at the time of Pralaya, they all resolve into Paramatma alone. Therefore, he is called Sarva Asu Nilayaha. So all pranas in pralayam, they resolve into Paramatma. Sarvasu Nilayaha. Then Analaha. Analaha means the one who has no limit. Alam paryaptihi shakti sampadam na asya vidyate iti analaha. The word alam means enough. And when we say enough, it is a relative term. Unless one specifies the terms, the adequacy, or you can call it enoughness, varies from object to object depending upon various factors. Again, when we say enough, we draw a line and limit it, saying this much and no more. Therefore, alam not only means enough, alam also means limit. So the one who does not have any alam, any limit, who is limitless, who is he? Parameshwara. He has no limit in terms of pervasiveness, no limit in the terms of time, no limit in terms of space, no limit in terms of knowledge, no limit in terms of power also. He is limitless in every aspect. So he is Analaha, the limitless. Then Darpaha, the destroyer of pride. Dharma viruddhe pati tishtatam darpam hanti iti darpaha. The Lord is called Darpaha because he destroys the pride and arrogance in the people who do not follow Dharma. In the form of time, he destroys their pride and vanity by destroying that which makes them proud and haughty. Even in those who follow the Dharma, when they do not acknowledge the grace of the Lord, when they do not actually understand that whatever I have achieved, even in my dharmic field, is all by the grace of the Lord, Bhagavan destroys their pride also. So that whenever we talk of Dharma, we must understand Ishvara is no different, because the very Dharma is Ishvara alone. That is why we cannot look at Dharma as a secular activity. Dharma is a religious activity so far as our culture is concerned. A dharmic person should have humility, should have the attitude of service without, selfless service. So that way he is Darpaha, destroyer of pride. Destroyer of pride of those people who do adharmic actions, and even the pride of those who are dharmic, but they do not recognize the grace of Ishvara in what all they achieve in their life. Darpaha. Then Darpadaha. But is pride wrong? Is pride a problem? He says, he is also Darpadaha, the giver of righteous pride. Dharma vartmani vartamananam dharpa dadati iti darpadaha. Here, the word darpa is justified pride. What is justified pride? It's a self-confidence born of name and fame. So, we must understand here, it's a very subtle meaning. All pride is not necessarily, because self-confidence also is born out of a pride. I am a human being. Basic, that I have got certain capabilities which other beings do not enjoy. Other living beings on this universe does not enjoy. That itself is a matter of pride for us. And that's a justified pride. When people follow dharma, Bhagavan gives them the karma phala in the form of name and fame, so that their contribution is never forgotten. The name and fame of Adi Shankara, do we forget even today after so many thousand years? So, as the contribution of the person in the form of the karma phala, Bhagavan does not let their name disappear. Therefore, he is Darpada, the giver of the righteous pride. And again, when those who live a righteous life are opposed by people taken to adharma, he gives them the courage and confidence to oppose and stand against them. Like what Arjuna got from Bhagavan Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So he is Dharpada. Then Driptaha. Driptaha means the one who is happy for no reason. Swatma Amritaras Amritaras Amritarasaswadam. I'm not getting the sandhi for here. Swatma Amritara Saswadanat Nitya Pramudito Driptaha. Maybe there's a typing mistake. I'll have to check it out. Okay, doesn't matter. So a person who is extremely happy, as though drunk or intoxicated, or because of any other sense pleasure, is called a dripta. So if Bhagavan is dripta, extremely happy, then what is it that makes him happy? There must be a cause. And that is how our orientation is. If somebody is happy, we ask, oh, what happened? You are so happy. What's the cause of your happiness? Isn't it? But Bhagavan does not become happy because of any sense pleasure. Bhagavan is always happy because happiness is his swarupa, his very nature. He is always happy by himself because of his nature being Ananda. It is as though he is drunk with his own Ananda. That's why Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asked, who is the Sthita Prajna? Bhagavad Gita students will see this in the next few classes. One definition Bhagavan gives, Atmani eva atmana tushtaha, one who is happy with his own self. He does not require any sense pleasure, any external motivation, any external incentive to be happy. Because he has recognized that happiness is my nature. He is a Sthita Prajna. So, Bhagavan is also we can call Darpada hai, Dripta hai or Stita Prajna, because he revels in his own happiness, in his own nature, which is Ananda. Then Durdara. Durdara means the one known with great difficulty. Na shakya dharana yasya pranidhanadishu sarvopadi vinirmuktatvat tatapi tat prasadatah कैश्चित दुखेन धार्यते हृदये जन्मांतर सहस्रेषु भावना योगात तस्माद दुर्धरः. And Adi Shankara quotes a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter. Kleshodhikatirastesha avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta higatir dhukkam dehavadbhiramapyate. So, Durdaraha, since essentially Bhagavan is Sarvopadi Vinirmukta. Sarva Upadi Vinirmukta, free from all limitation, all attributes. Doesn't have any limbs. Formless. Therefore, it is not possible to grasp Bhagavan and retain him in our buddhi, because our buddhi can recognize, gain knowledge and retain that knowledge one of only those objects which have a form, a name and a form. Since Bhagavan in his Swarupa as Satchidananda Atma, as Brahman, has no name and form, it is very, very difficult to understand, to comprehend what Bhagavan is. Hence, he is Durdara. But then, does that mean that it is absolutely impossible? The answer is no. The idea being conveyed here is that it is very difficult. Even though one may go to a guru and the teaching is very clear, to understand Bhagavan, one must have the adhikaritva, the mental preparedness, antakarana shuddhi, the purity of the mind. Many people say, we have been attending Vedanta classes of many leading teachers, but we don't understand this. What is this Brahman? They won't, because for them attending the classes is just a mechanical exercise. They have no adhikaritvam. They lack sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Therefore, even coming to Vedanta, even attending classes, one must ensure that one gains a relative degree of sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, a relative degree of chitta shuddhi. Then whatever the teachings of Vedanta is, it will start making sense to that person. So, to understand Bhagavan, it requires a certain degree of maturity, intellectual maturity. And for that Viveka, Vairagya, all those Samadhi, Shakka Sampatti, in short, before coming to Jnana Yoga, practice of Karma Yoga and Karma Yoga sadhanas for a sufficient period of time is necessary. Otherwise, the entire Vedanta teaching will come into this year and go out of this year. When you attend a class and listen to lot of glories of Bhagavan, how many of us, after leaving the class, actually spend some time in actually, contemplating of what we have learned? Test yourself. Check for yourself. I mean, it's not that somebody else needs to judge you. Do you actually revel? Does your mind stay with the teaching for some time? Or, as Swami Paramatmananda says, chappal on, Vedanta gone. In his classes, he says, people come because they are physical classes held. So people will remove their footwear outside the classroom, come and sit inside. And after the class is over, he said the moment they put on their footwear, Vedanta is gone. Chappal on, Vedanta gone. For such people, even if they attend Vedanta classes for 25 years, Bhagavad Gita class for 40 years, it will make no difference, because they have not prepared themselves. It is just like a guy going and saying, I am going to run a Olympic race, and he has not done any preparation. Will he be able to sustain that, competing with so many others? Therefore, it requires a certain degree of chitta shuddhi, antakarana shuddhi. And Bhagavan is easiest to know for those who are ready. And of course, most difficult for those who are not ready. And mind you, this readiness does not happen in one birth. Very rarely it may happen in one birth. It requires, as I said, sufficient period of time preparation, which comes down from many births. The sanskara should be there, and those sanskaras are carried forward from birth after birth after birth. And finally, in one birth, what is Bhagavan, what is Ishvara, what is this Jagat, what am I, all becomes crystal clear. You don't need any great teaching in that birth. All that you require is a guru who will recall all that you know, who will remove this Maya's, Avarana Shakti, who will make you understand that what this Jagat is nothing but Maya, who will make you see the ultimate reality, the only reality. That can happen in any birth. Because the mind, which is always moving in the realm of forms and attributes, as I said, even with reference to our own body and also the world of objects, it will be very difficult for the mind to conceive the formless. It only revels in forms and names and forms, in the world of names and forms. And that's why Bhagavad Gita says, as I read out, Kleshodikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkam dehavad bhiravapyate. Bhagavan says, the affliction is greater still. I mean, this is following the fourth sloka than the fifth sloka. The affliction is greater still for those whose minds are committed to what cannot be objectified, but being attributeless. Because such an end is reached with difficulty, but by those who are identified with the body. Same thing, Bhagavan is pointing out that first of all, if you want to understand Bhagavan, if you want to get the knowledge of Bhagavan, if you want to discover Bhagavan, and if you want to assimilate that knowledge, the first thing is you must detach your mind from the world of names and objects, including your own body, which is again nothing but a name and form. When you can't do that, then Bhagavan becomes Durdaraha. Next is Aparajitaha. Aparajita, the one who is never defeated. Na antaraihi ragadibihi bahorapi danavadibihi shatrubihi parajita iti aparajitaha. Bhagavan is never defeated by enemies, including all the Ravanas. No Ravana could escape from Bhagavan Rama. There are asuras even, they are there even today. Who are they? Any organized group like the mafia, so many groups we are there who are adharmic people, who believe only in adharma, killing others, even innocent people, bombing others. They are all asuras. All those who commit such crimes are all asuras. Therefore, the fight between the asuras and the devas goes on even today. And this fight symbolizes, the fight between asuras and devas, is to show that both inside us and the outside world, there are forces that are out to transgress dharma. No matter how long adharma may exist or may seem to exist, finally it is dharma which will prevail. Because Bhagavan is in the form of dharma, he can never be defeated. Dharma can never be defeated. As is Satyameva Jayate, we can say Dharmameva Jayate. He is Aparajita, cannot be defeated. So that is the last nama of the 76th sloka. We go to the next sloka. Vishwamurtir Mahamurtir Deepta Murtira Murtiman Aneka Murtir Avyakta Shathamurti Shathananaha. So 8 namas: Vishwamurtihi, Mahamurtihi, Deeptamurtihi, Amurtiman, Anekamurtihi, Avyaktaha, Shatamurtihi, Shatananaha. 8 namas. Vishwamurtihi. We just now talked about formlessness. Now the same Bhagavan is presented here as in different forms. First is Vishwamurtihi, the one who is in the form of this Jagat. Vishwamurtihi asya sarvatmakatvad iti Vishwamurtihi. As I said, Bhagavan is now presented here with reference to form. Being all pervasive, he has the entire Vishwa, the entire cosmos, the entire universe as his form, and hence he is Vishwamurti. As we have seen, Bhagavan is essentially formless, but he is also in various forms due to Maya. We must understand, Maya is not subordinate to Bhagavan. Without Maya, there is no Bhagavan. Formlessness is only consciousness, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the Swarupa of Bhagavan, and which is what every being is. But when we refer to that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma As Bhagavan, it is only in terms of a form. You say Bhagavan Krishna, Bhagavan Rama, Bhagavan Shiva, Bhagavan Vishnu. They're all forms that we have conceived. Why? Because a human intellect can only relate to relate and worship a form alone. Therefore, as the entire Vishwa is his form, every form is his form alone. And that is why we can worship anything in this universe. It is not wrong. As long as you understand that what I am worshipping is not this form, but the reality behind this form. Other people make fun of us, criticize us that you are all idol worshippers. That's fine, because they are ignorant that what that idol represents for us. Any worship is a personal affair. There is no harm in worshipping wealth as long as you recognize the fact that through this wealth I am worshipping Bhagavan, I am worshipping that Brahman, the creator of this world. And when we look at the forms also, every form can further be reduced to another form until there is no form at all. Science is now started. Science also recognizes all these things parallelly. When first they said this is an object, then said no, there is no object. Actually, it is made up of atoms. Then they said there are no atoms are made of molecules. Then they went on and on. Now they have come to quantum physics, and now their scientists are recognizing that what we see, what we perceive, doesn't exist at all. They have come to Vedanta, almost very near at the door of Vedanta. Science is standing today, physics is standing, quantum physics is standing today. One more step, all this difference between Vedanta and this will vanish. But as long as they are depending upon their mind, their sense objects, proof of existence, they will never reach that final ultimate teaching of Vedanta, because they are still caught in their mind, in sense objects, sense organs, and all that. They are still caught in the proof without realizing that the proof of this entire reality is there in every object that you are experimenting with. So, when you look at it, science has also done the same thing, and Vedanta has done it thousands of years ago. In fact, it has done it at the beginning of this entire creation, which is beginningless, from beginningless times, because Vedas are existing. We don't know from where. All these people are all, they say 5,000 years, 3,000 years. Absolutely ridiculous, ignorant estimation. Therefore, every object can be we can go on reducing until there is no form at all. And every thought also is a form. And every form is understood as an object of our cognition. And what is the cognition based on? The truth of any cognition is only consciousness. So we have to reach there. We have to reach up to consciousness to understand the truth, the reality. And this is what the Lord is. Therefore, while understanding Bhagavan, when we say Bhagavan, it means that which has a form, and all forms are Bhagavan. Vishwamurtihi. Then Mahamurtihi, the one with a great form. Shesha Paryanga Shayinaha Asya Mahati Murtihi iti Mahamurtihi. As Vishwamurti, every form that comprises this Vishwa is his form that we saw. But we can look at it in another way. If it is looked at it as one great form, as Vishwa, without going into the individual components of the Vishwa, then he is Mahamurti. It is one great cosmic form which contains all the forms within itself. Therefore, individually, he is Vishwamurti, and collectively, he is Mahamurti. Then Deepta Murtihi, the one with an effulgent form. Deepta Jnanamayi Murtihi Yasya iti Swechaya Grihita Taijasi Murtihi Deepta Asyeti va Deepta Murtihi. So when we said Mahamurti, the one who is in cosmic form, and that form is also Deepta Murti. Because we just now saw every form is nothing but the expression of the knowledge of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the creator. No person can create anything without the knowledge of what he is going to create. So if we say everything, every object, every being in this entire universe is created by Bhagavan, then Bhagavan should be possessing all knowledge. And what is that knowledge? It is nothing but Chaitanyam. That knowledge is nothing but the effulgent consciousness. Therefore, Bhagavan is Deepta Murti, the one with an effulgent form. Knowledge alone is manifest in the form of Jagat. Or Deepta Murti also, we can take it from taking the help of Bhagavad Gita. Vishwarupa form, the form that he took. That's what Adi Shankara refers to here. Swechaya Grihita Taijasi Murtihi Deepta. On his own accord, to show Arjuna what his reality is, he shows Arjuna his Vishwarupa form. And Sanjaya says in the Gita, because Sanjaya is able to watch what is going on in the Kurukshetra. And he is telling Dhritarashtra, Divi Surya Sahasrascha Bhaved Juga Paduttita Yada Bha Sadrishi Sasyat Bhasastasya Mahatmanah. When Sanjaya saw that Vishwarupa of Bhagavan, he says, it was as if simultaneously 1,000 effulgent suns appeared in the sky. And that effulgence also might perhaps be equal to or may even fall short of the effulgence of Bhagavan, the great Lord. Therefore, he is Deepta Murti, the most effulgent, knowledgeable. Amurtiman, the one without a form. Karma Nibandhana Murtihi Asya na Vidyate iti Amurtiman. He is Amurtiman, the one who does not have a form, since there is no karma to give him a form. Therefore, he does not have a body of his own, a form of his own, but every form is his form. And that's why when Bhagavan assumes some avatara, he assumes some form. But normally when we talk about human beings, the kind of body we have, the kind of mind we have, all these things, all both Stula Sharira and Sukshma Sharira, we say that it is all the result of past karmas. The punya papas earned by using the past janmas. That is what determines this body, mind, sense complex. But Bhagavan, he does not have any karma to give him a particular form. So that what form that Rama, Krishna, on what basis does he take those forms will be the question. Why is Bhagavan born as or takes avatar as Rama, as Krishna, so many other avatars as Vamana, so many avatars he takes on what basis? The answer is, it is the prayers of the devotees. They become the material for Ishvara to assume a given form. And this is called Avatara Murti, a form which is assumed by Bhagavan on his own will, by his own will, based upon the prayers of the devotees. But as such, he is Amurtiman, without form, but assumes all these forms because of the necessity. When adharma goes beyond reasonable limits, when the devotees, the dharmic people are troubled beyond their endurance capacity, they all pray to Bhagavan. And then Bhagavan says, Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I will take avatara in every yuga in order to re-establish dharma on this earth. So he is Amurtiman. Then Aneka Murtihi. See, this is all the beautiful way to understand Bhagavan. So we cannot fix anything. Oh, this is Bhagavan, this is not Bhagavan. That is why in our culture we worship all forms, whether it is an animal form, whether it is a snake, there are the snakes like snakes, tiger, ferocious animals also we worship. When we worship tiger, we are actually worshipping, tiger is only a sort of a symbol. We are worshipping the entire animal kingdom. When we are worshipping a snake, we are worshipping the entire reptile kingdom. When we are worshipping Bhagavan, whose form is made in some stone and kept in the temple, we are worshipping the entire inanimate kingdom of this universe. We worship with flowers, with leaves. They are also forms of Bhagavan. So we worship all the forms which are there. Aneka Murti Avatareshu Swechaya Lokanam Upakarinihi Bahvihi Murtihi Bhajate iti Aneka Murtihi. So again, in the various avatars like Rama, Krishna, etc., the Lord assumes many forms according to his own will. Hence, he is Aneka Murti, the one who assumes many forms. And in fact, when we are talking about avatars, normally we refer to only Dashavatara. Because they are the most popular avatars which occur in the Puranas, etc. And in the avatars, actually, there are two types of avatars. One is called Ansha Avatara, a partial manifestation of Bhagavan in some form. And these are many and can take place at all time and places in all cultures. So whenever we come across a Mahatma, whenever we come across a great saint like Vedavyasa, a great Rishi like Adi Shankara, or Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya. All these are all Amsha avatars. Some glory of Bhagavan they carry with us to guide the world, with them to guide the world, to teach the world, to bring the glory of Bhagavan to the ignorant people in this world. So they are all called Amsha avatars, and they can take place at all the times, in all places, in all cultures. Jesus Christ is an Amsha avatar. The other is Purna avatara. Purna avatara is the manifestation of Bhagavan in full. Like Rama avatara, Krishna avatara are called Purna avatara. Therefore, Bhagavan can actually manifest as Amsha avatara, Purna avatara, or also manifest as the Vishwarupa. Therefore, Bhagavan has got many forms. He is Aneka Murtihi. He is Avyaktaha. We just now said he can manifest as many forms, but it immediately, in order not to get carried away with that idea, with that orientation, immediately says Avyakta, he is unmanifest. Yadyapi Aneka Murtitvamasya Tathapi Ayam Idrisha Eveti Na Vyajate Iti Avyakta. When we say Bhagavan is born due to the prayers of the people, does it mean that he is really born? The answer is no. The avatara is not a birth. Even though he manifests in many forms, he really has got no form, no birth or no death. Why? Bhagavan is essentially avyakta, not vyakta, not available for objectification by the senses, and not determinable that this is how he is. His Swarupa is what Satyam Jnanam Anantam, and that is to be understood. And this is what Bhagavan says in the Gita. Avyaktam Vyaktimapannam Manyante Mama Buddhayaha Param Bhavamajanantaha Mamavyam Anumat Mamavyam Anuttamam. Okay. So, avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante ma abuddhayaha. Abuddhayaha means those who lack viveka, those who do not know my limitlessness, my changeless nature. Look upon me who is formless. I am avyaktam as the one who is endowed with a manifest form. That's what Bhagavan says in the Gita. His own words, Bhagavat Vachanat. So essentially, in his Swarupa, he is Avyaktaha. Then Shatamurtihi, the one who has got 1,000 forms. Nana Vikalpaja Murtaya Samvidha Krite Santi Iti Shatamurtihi. So essentially, he is the one who is nature of pure consciousness. Even though that is the case, that is the reality, he is Shatamurti, the one who sports hundreds of forms. And here, which is Shata, means we can take limitless, countless forms. As we saw, there are so many different forms in this Jagat, and every form is his form alone. Again, they are all further multiplied because of the various subjective perceptions. Isn't it? A particular form, I may perceive a particular form in a particular way, The same form somebody else may perceive in a different way. One form may be attractive to me, but certainly it's not attractive to everybody else. So it is not only the different form, the different perceptions of different people makes it further, multiplied forms. Then Shatananaha, the one who has got many faces. Very simple. Vishwadi Murtitvam Yataha Ata Eva Shatananaha. Anana means face. Because he is Shatamurti, countless forms, he is also Shatanana, the one with countless faces. In fact, those who are from the south, especially Kerala, and but now the custom has spread to other South Indian cities also, cultures also. Right? There's a custom that on the New Year's Day, that is Vishnu Day, Tamil New Year's Day, as soon as one gets up, one should see the face of Bhagavan. How and where does one see the face of Bhagavan? The person is asked to look at himself in a mirror. So, just to remind us, even your face is the face of Bhagavan in me. Thus, every face in the entire universe is the face of Bhagavan. He has got many faces. He is Shatananaha. So, we'll start the next sloka. Let me see, what 3 more minutes. Eko naikah sabakakim yattat padamanuttamam loka bandhur lokanatho madhavo bhaktavatsalaha. Very nice sloka. This has got 12 namas. We have been seeing 8 namas, 9 namas only. This has got 12 namas. Very beautifully single syllable names of Bhagavan. Single or maybe 2 syllables. Ekaha, na ekaha, naikaha. Savaha, kahaha, kim, yat, tat, padamanuttamam, lokabandhuhu, lokanataha, madhavaha, bhaktavatsalaha. Are there 12 or 13? There should be 12 only, Ekaha, naikaha, savaha, kaha, kim. Fine. Yat, tat, padamanuttamam, lokabandhu, lokanatha, madhava, bhaktavatsalaha. 12 only. So, Ekaha, the one. Paramartataha sajatiya vijatiya swagata bheda vidirmuktatvat ekaha. We have seen this similar meaning earlier also. Sajatiya vijatiya swagata bheda vinirmuktaha. He is Eka one. Actually, if we look at it, the number 1 is an indefinite number. When we say one universe, but that universe has got millions of galaxies. Again, we say one galaxy, it has got billions of stars. And we say, okay, one star or one solar system, it has got many planets and satellites. One planet Earth has got many continents. One continent has got many countries. One country has many states. One state has many districts, towns and villages, streets, houses, etc. And of course, as I said a little earlier, all this can be finally reduced to atoms and particles. So what is this one? What do you mean by one? We generally understand one as a member of a set. And so when we hear the word one, our mind wants to know what is the set. There is one body, and in that body there are many parts or angas. One arm means it is different from the other parts of the body or from the other arm. So one is a set of 2. and has got parts. Again, that one also has got parts: upper arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, hand, 5 fingers, etc. Again, one finger can be subdivided. Thus, our mind always is attuned to look at one as a member of a set with its own parts and divisions. But here it is said that Bhagavan is one. It is in the sense that any kind of second thing is not there. So we must, whenever we look at one, we must come out of our orientation of what our understanding of one is till now. Because Bhagavan is not one in that sense. Bhagavan has essentially no parts. There is no second Bhagavan. There is nothing else other than Bhagavan. Chandogya Upanishad says, Ekameva Advitiyam, one alone without a second. So here, the essential Swarupa of Bhagavan is pointed out. Bhagavan is not an Angi with many Angas, but a whole with parts. Bhagavan is partless. Name and form are only appearances, Nitya. It is Advitiya, one without a second, free from all threefold division. What are the threefold division? Sajatiya Bheda, difference between the members of the same species. As one tree being different from another. Again, there is Vijatiya Bheda, difference between one species and another, as a tree being different from a cow or any other animal. Then again, Swagata Bheda, difference between the parts of a same object. Like a tree has got different parts, like branches, leaves, flowers, etc. All these differences are possible only when parts or a second thing is there. But Lord is Purna Eka, partless one without a second. So we will stop there. I'm sorry, taken 2 more minutes, but I didn't want to stop in between. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Namaskaram, Hari
Thank
Om.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Namaskaram, Hari Om. Thank you.
Namaskaram. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hari Om. Any questions? Any remarks? Otherwise, we can close. Nothing? Okay. Then we will call it a day. See you all next Sunday. Okay. Thank you.
Dhanyavad, Guruji. Dhanyavad.
Thank you. Dhanyavad.